This story is about the mystery and the magnificence of the northeastern cornerstone of our great Canada. These rugged mountains reveal the beauty that reminds Canadians how fortunate they are to be able to share in natural heritage such as this. The Torngat Mountains form the underlying foundation of the Newfoundland territory of Labrador. The wedge-shaped range divides the waters of the Labrador Sea from those of the Ungava Bay. They're not well known, and they certainly are not well traveled by people from the Southlands. There's only one set of Torngat Mountains, but different cultures have very different views of the same resource. The indigenous Inuit people have lived here for thousands of years. They have an intimate and spiritual relationship with this land of contrast. The Inuit often explain the events of their lives using legends and stories in conjunction with the land. A different viewpoint is often expressed by southern adventurers who come to experience and learn about the scale and intensity of the land of Inukjuks. They come with a sense of introspection in addition to a sense of challenge and quest. On their trip, they explore their inner thoughts as well as the landscape. Following the credits, a complete version of the poem Response to a Northern Landscape is presented for your listening enjoyment.
The Inuit elder spoke in low and liquid tones, his voice as supple as the caribou skin walls of their summer house on the Nakvak Fjord. The ebony eyes of his son and his son's wife sparkled in unison with the flickering flame in the stony corner of their house. With his grandson's head resting on his crossed knees, he once more told the favorite story of Torngat, the spirit ruler.
The mountains in this area are ruled by the spirit Torngat. His wife Isumataq rules the great winds and all the animals. Torngat and Isumataq live in a dark cavern somewhere in these beautiful Torngat mountains. The two spirit rulers are often mischievous with passing human travelers and send difficulty and grief to confuse them. People should not go close to their cave, for Torngat has the ability to catch both humans and animals and punish them. He may lock the spirits inside of a rock or beneath waters of the rushing river for all times.
The family listened to the story as outside of their home, the spirit ruler of the north winds sang her songs of the beautiful mountains and their history with the chosen people. Further inland, but not a long distance from the fjord, a green nylon tent luffed gently in the steady breeze. As the two exhausted canoeists lay in their sleeping bags, they reminisced about the beautiful scenery they had passed through on that day. This was, indeed, a mystical and spiritual place. Occasionally, they could hear the thundering resonance of rocks sliding and crashing down the mountainsides into the valleys below. The sound was both frightening and enticing, for it signaled danger and warning with one voice, but it also spoke of adventure and excitement with another. The two interpreted the land in a very different way than the Inuit family living on the fjord shoreline. The two adventurers were actually seeking hardship and challenge. They wanted to take pictures and try to capture the grandeur they saw. They then planned to return to their southern homes and talk about their trials. When safe and comfortable, many good stories would be told. But for now, the two spoke in hushed whispers as the overpowering landscape shaped their thoughts and emotions. One of the canoeists was writing a poem in his trip journal, using the feeble light of a candle lantern to see the scribbled pencil words. His lines did not acknowledge the presence of Torngat and the other unseen spirit dwellers. The canoeist tried to make his poem sing of challenge, of courage, and conquest. The poem seemed to be inviting other southern people to come and visit the land of Inukshuks.
Travel the great northern climes. Explore the living mysteries of this earth. Endure their physical challenge. Celebrate the essence of life. Strain to understand your earthen chains. Shed your city-bred stance. Create a space in your mind to ponder. Create a bookmark in your thoughts. Reach back to your childhood. Rebuild your sense of wonder. Come face to face with your soul. Come face to face with your God. Move your frail craft forward with conviction. Ride the waters of time to the great seas below. Startle your idle synapses and tease the truth to surface. Push back your walls. Let go of structure. Let go of time. Float through other dimensions.
Torngat frowned with disappointment as he considered the lines of short-sighted poetry and gazed over his mountain domain. In the southern distance, he could see the giant steel machines ripping his mountain land's heart open in search of the yellow-green metal. Torngat indeed was a spirit ruler, but these machines had a stronger and immutable power, a power that he and Siparuk could not overcome. His power came from the chosen people believing in him. Without this spiritual belief, he and his spirit clan had no power. Torngat watched from Wind God Mountain, and for the first time since time began, he experienced the human feelings of anxiety. In a metaphorical sense, he realized that the rivers from one mountain can flow in many directions. His wife also sensed that the strength of the new people was forcing her animal children to leave the area. Siparuk resented their interference in the living ways that were as old as the tundra heather. She became melancholy as she considered her own changes to the land. She had moved them forward very slowly. Now, these new god things made their changes with great speed. The rapid pace of change upset the ancient harmonic in the land. The land and the living things could not adapt quickly enough. Siporoksoak realized her domain was changing without her approval. Soon, she would no longer be able to guide or obstruct those who traveled through these lands on the shores of the Labrador Sea. She continued her musings as far beneath her, the canoeist labored over his poem, believing he could capture the meaning of this stark land.
Face the hurt, the hunger, the fear. Wager your safety as stakes. Accept your animal sufferings. Follow the path that you dare. See the land as beauty incarnate, or see the land as barren and waste. These are the lands of Aurora, shown to those who believe. Space stretches the scale of perception, freeing the vision for dreaming. See the soft curve of the earth. Comprehend your species' frailty. Set your course and savor a life of vibrato and gusto. Shoulder the heaviest pack. But tread softly, good friend. Tread softly on this land.
The Inuit man finished his storytelling as the wind outside sifted through the new and sharp-edged rocks. His family was now asleep in the dark warmth of their house. The old man's mind wandered, and he conjured images of great herds of caribou, feasts of walrus, and brave hunts for seals. These thoughts were familiar and comfortable to him. But on a twist of the wind, these images shifted in his mind. He saw airplanes landing on the waters. He saw steel machines changing the shape of the land. He could see great numbers of the new people coming and staying in his land. He understood that his land was always changing, on its way to becoming something else. Transformation was a common idea within his informal religion. He believed that the spirits who lived in this land continually tested his people to adapt to new circumstances and new difficulties. His people could endure and survive. His people were masters at survival. The old man understood these things, yet still, he was troubled, for now the vivid pictures in his mind were being repainted in different colors. He reached down and gently pulled the fox-skin robe over his grandson's shoulders and lowered his weary head to the sleeping skins. He listened in vain for the voice of hope to come to him on the wind. Silently, he asked the spirits to safeguard his family from the new work of the new people. Sleep did not easily come to the old man that night. To help push back his worries, the Inuit sang a tenuous dream song to the wind. The fragile wisp of conscience floated down the darkening valleys and across the icy waters to sink slowly into the ink-black depths of the Labrador Sea.
Reveal yourself, O land of Inukshuk. Show us the ways of your wisdom. Teach us to honor your history encourage us to question your mystery. Join and commune with us, for we are drawn to your shining light. We seek direction for ourselves. Our weakness is mirrored in your perfection. As we revel in creation's cradle, we discover protection and promise as we flow towards the awakening light. We look downward and inward to our reflection on the pool.